Welcome to the ultimate farming guide. I'm going to have everything from beginners to advanced, the best farm. You're watching it right now, which is in Fortress. It is the outpost there where you're going to run in a circle with Valby. We'll get into some of that, but I'm going to break down a lot of different information, just key for you to master this when it comes to all of the different variations. There's a lot of them. So lock in. Before we get into that, I do have a giveaway for my community, multiple video games free for you guys to get. All you got to do is comment, and I will be selecting winners for Metal Gear Solid, Delta Snake Eater, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. So lock in. Two of my favorite games coming out soon. So go get involved. With that out of the way, there is timestamps. So if you want to skip through, you're gonna miss out on a lot of information in between because there's secrets, tips, and tricks that's gonna help you maximize everything. This is going to be for gold, for Kuiper, XP farming, your weapon proficiency, your mastery levels, all of it in one place because I think it's necessary to just kind of have an easy home to get to. So here we are. All right. Now, before we get into all the nitty gritty, there's a couple of key notes that I want to kind of make sure that you guys are on top of. And it's very important. First and foremost, any kill from you or your teammate counts for your XP or weapon proficiency. All right. It doesn't matter who gets the actual kill, you're still going to get rewards, even if you're using the ability. Also, the primary weapon that you have in your hand will get the most XP, and the other two will be getting a little less. All right. Well, maybe 60% less or something like that. And another big note is there's a myth about carrying the same weapon, which I was also confused about. My viewers on my stream said that's how you can get more XP. And I didn't really see any results, and I tested it, and it's definitely not true. So just put on different weapons. You're going to get more XP on your loadouts if you do that, so you can consistently get more proficiency. The more level 40 weapons you have, the more mastery rank you'll go up. So continue to do that and maximize all of them. When I'm farming, I switch out weapons. I put on weapons I don't really use just to maximize my potential when it comes to XP. I don't need to rock level 40 weapons during my farming because most of the farming is like what you're seeing here, where I'm just Bunny or Valby, etc., etc. Okay, with that tips out of the way, there's gonna be a lot more tips in between the video for you guys, but I want to start this off with what you're watching because it really is the best method in this game. I mean, hands down, without a shadow of doubt. Like it got me coughing. That's how good it is. All right, so you're looking at the fortress in the baseline outpost. This is where you're going to travel to, and you're going to run down into the defensive line outpost here. I said baseline, defensive line. And you once you get in here, everything you watched is how it all works. It's pretty basic. It's nothing complicated. Having Valby is the best option. There's other, of course, like Bunny, but Bunny might end up killing the boss. The reason Valby's good is because she stays on the outside perimeter. She's doing damage to all the enemies that spawn on the outside. So you're gonna get the mission started, get the boss out, and then you're going to wrap around the ring with Valby. Of course, the more maxed out she is, the easier it'll be. Actually, this wasn't the perfect setup because I took off some of the stuff. I didn't want to give my max build to farm this because I wanted to show you guys a lesser build that can still do it. And I'm using level 1 weapons so I can max them out, or level 5 or whatever they are. But the point is, all I'm doing is clearing out the objectives and then the boss spawns. And then the rest of the time, I'm just running in circles. Even if I hurt the boss and maybe kill him, he'll go into an invulnerable stage. And Valby's ticks do not hurt the bubbles that go on his head. So I'm able to just farm this for hours and hours and hours. Of course, not hours, but it'll be 3 minutes. It'll fail. Then you're just going to walk in, walk back out, and continue it right away. So it's the fastest, not having to wait, not having to slow down or stop. and you can get tons of gold, tons of Kuiper. There's a lot of good XP here, all of it. And what I will say, just by giving you guys the best farm to start off, is man, there's a lot of cool stuff in this game to do, right? So this isn't going to be the best farm to be able to get yourself crystallizations or the energy collectors. Those are not exactly what this is, but for everything else, you can maximize it, sure, if that's what you feel like doing. But for me personally, I would recommend to go watch some of my guides on the crystallizations or the energy activators, because those are going to be how you maximize your build for real, and that's going to help. So there's two different factors here, and we're not going to get into those methods, but the point is these methods here are just good for exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to giving you the best overall XP or Kuiper or gold. Okay, tons and tons of stuff, and I hope that is the first helpful tip. But we're gonna go a little backwards, and there's gonna be a lot of cool other information in here that I'll get into, and we're gonna kind of run through some of this game's beginning things, but I'll give tips in between and secrets that you guys might need. All right, so in Kingston, when you first start off, you're gonna have the defensive resource. This is the first farm I talked about, and I put a video out about. This is where you can level up your character or your weapons pretty fast. The higher you go up, the even better it gets, the more XP you'll get. But when you first start the game and you need it, hey, I'm not good enough level, I'm really low level, you could just play this 3 or 4 times and you'll max out your character all the way. Um, Maybe less than 3 or 4 times, but I say 3 or 4 times because you might leave halfway through and only get half of the XP. But yeah, just play this and you should be good to go. It's pretty much waves. I'm not gonna explain it or showcase it, but it's pretty much waves. And I have this video here where I also decided to do some waves just to test out different areas. And one thing I can say that I love about these defensive things, there actually are some great ones. Okay. The one that you're watching right now allows me, and it's called block Kuiper mining. The reason I like this one is because it gave me chances to get blueprints as far as picking up amorphous materials. So it gave me multiple chances. So I ended up playing one where I got 4 amorphous materials in this one mission. Now these are taking long, 20-minute long, wave after wave, but I was getting weapon proficiency. I was practicing with different weapons and just seeing my build, trying different things out while I was farming to get a character unlocked, getting his amorphous materials. So these are very good. They're all over the game. I'm not going to go through each and every single one of them because we'll be here all day. But you know. I mean, you should know. And then we're going to get into other cool things. And like I said, focus on what you need, okay? The game is very specific. It lets you know like, hey, if this is the character you want to unlock, if this is the weapon, this is the mod you want, these are the things you need to do. So for me, focus on that. And if you do need Kuiper and you do need, this is the video for that specifically. Okay. And speaking of video, this is the number one spot, and it still kind of is, in my opinion, still a fun place to go. You get this pretty early on. I like to come here on hard mode, and it's a very quick mission in under 30 to 60 seconds. You can go in here. It's in it's in the Rockfall outpost, and you're gonna jump into this mission called Anticipated Ambush. And what's cool about this is there are times where somebody just needs you to press the button. All you got to do is hit this button, and they'll do the mission, and you're still getting a little bit of XP. And then you just run around, pick up the stuff if they're okay with it. And of course, you're in a team, that's what you want to do. But a little pro tip, and this is where those people who are just watching, little pro tip during the missions, when it ends, it has a result screen. You can just press restart and you don't have to come back to these to start them anymore from now on. So this is a secret tip that a lot of people haven't been using, and I think it's very valuable. You just go in here, you hit that restart button, and you basically continue on and on and on. And it's super helpful for people who need it, you know? So that's that. And speaking of that's that, I wanted to give you guys another area right in the same map. This is called Kuiper Mines. And so this one is pretty interesting. For me, it's another one of those. We're learning the game and we're figuring out ways to manipulate the system and get some good things going. But in this mission, all you're gonna do is activate the mission, and then there's gonna be waves of enemies, and you don't want to finish it. Right in the Kuiper Mines area, all you want to do is start it up and then just wait. So I'm here currently in the Kuiper mine. I just activated the mission, and all that it does is it tells you to basically activate these shards, which we're not going to do right now. But the point is that is how you do that. You're going to come in here and just consistently kill enemies for the 5-minute timer, and then just let it fail if you want, or you can succeed and you're still good to go either way. So that's how that works, and you should definitely look into figuring that out if you want to have some good stuff. And there's plenty of awesome farms in this game that you guys can get into. Personally, I don't mind that. I think there's going to be newer methods that we'll come up to with. I think the newest one that I said, the first one, that's the best. It's a good example of like, okay, well, you don't care if the mission fails. You want to get the Kuiper shards and the different elements in it as well. Okay. So now, last but not least, well, not last. There's still plenty of more, guys. But this one right here is one of my favorites that I ended up enjoying here. You're gonna come over to the swamp, and in the swamp, you're gonna jump to the abandoned zone. And there's this mission called Abandoned Refinery Unit. This is probably one of the best ones that we got later on and we found. And the way it works is once you activate it, a lot of enemies that come up from up top, then they'll have you run down under, and you're basically just going to follow the icons that tell you where to go. All the enemies will be through here. You'll get a lot of good Kuiper and gold. And again, I'm teaching you all this so you can get a mixture, and then you end up here where the boss is. The thing is, you don't want to have to go restart the mission. You can just use the restart in the menu. All right. So every time you finish a mission, it gives you results, and you're capable of looking at it through the menu and going from there. So check that out. Try that for yourself. And again, there's plenty of cool different missions that you can play in this game and get into on your own in your own time and stuff like that. So that's something I love personally. Those are the main ones. And it's really up to you on what you're feeling and how you want to go. I do want to talk about a different farm, which is more for the void shards. And there's plenty of different areas that we can get into when it comes to the void shards. But I did want to kind of touch on some of the key things with this and to understand and how they all work. There's a lot of them in the game, but let's get into it. So this void shard right here is in the fortress. It is an easy one, but you would want another person. So I would say go into public and you'll see somebody doing it and you can just help them. And the way it works is each element, you need to have a specific character. I can pop it right here while the other two guys are up top getting the kills. And we're trying to get the void shard rewards, which is necessary to be able to open up the challenges to this. So, for example, void shard organic or polymorph, and then I'm going to go in here and pick up the rewards if I beat the boss, of course. But the point is you want to be able to farm this efficiently. And there's a lot of different variations, but now that they're giving more rewards and it's pretty clear, this is what you should be doing when you need those. Jumping in, this is one of the best that they have. Okay, that's the general consensus when it comes to this, as far as the best possibility that you could have in the game right now. But I want to kind of give a couple more tips and tricks. At the end of the day, there's actually something I didn't really mention is turning it to private for specific things. When you do the outpost, other players can come in and ruin your run and pretty much kill things because then there'll be timers on the outpost and you don't want that. And it's not always about the timer. Sometimes there's just specific way you want to do things. So some of those missions will be better solo, but a lot of them are honestly better united as a team. And it's the best thing to do is just kind of not, be antisocial for the most part. But there are tips like, for example, I didn't want to get into this too heavily, but sharing allows you to get bonus items, which is super critical for extra rewards. For example, if I need an amorphous, I can get double the amounts. Probably get two of them by using Sharon. Just using her alone will do me justice. Okay. And so this is the kind of thing that's incredible and super cool, in my opinion, if that's something that they allow. And now, speaking of Sharon, and I want to kind of showcase this little secret tip, and probably something you guys shouldn't know. As you can see here, there's second bonus rewards, but I have to do it with Sharon, which is stealth wise. But we're not going to focus on that. I want to show you guys a little trick that they've been using right here. So as I come in here, I'm going to break these. If I put it on normal and I break these, then the boss comes out, right? I'm going to run back here. It's going to make it like if I'm out of bounds, but I'm going to kill the boss with 0 seconds left in the last second. Shoot him. And of course, when you're on normal, you probably can one shot them. And that will fail the mission, but give you his rewards. You can go in and out and do this. So there's going to be methods where we purposely kind of fail missions and do things like this to repeat and get more rewards out of it. And this is one of them that allows you to do that. So you should definitely look into it and see for yourself what works for you as you go forward. But there's plenty, and I mean plenty of little methods like that. And it's for specific items and things that you might need. But you want to kind of try to take all of that into consideration and build up your character as you go from there. So, another thing I want to kind of touch on is your actual external components. These are very critical. They actually give you the chance to have farming attributes. You can see right now I have gold drop rate increase multiplier, right? And then I have the firearm proficiency gain. I didn't purposely put that on. I just put it on like, hey, why not? But so each of these Kuiper shard drop rate increase. So then boom, if I had Kuiper shard on all this, and that's what I was farming, I'm gonna get way more out of my runs as I go forward. So I want to take care of that and do that as best as possible. And so that is kind of the core essence. As you can see, I have spent like maybe a billion already. If we went into my character and you look at just Valby, I have all of my characterizations almost. And then if you look at all of my items, I have a lot of maxed mods already. Ones that I'm not even using. As you can see, getting close to half of all my mods. And I have literally thousands upon thousands, pretty much got almost all the mods. And this is just for one character, just to show you. And just an example of what you could be doing for your character that's going to enhance it as well. You're going to get a lot of Kuiper shards. You're going to get a lot of gold. And one thing I can note is that Kuiper shards is a choke point in the beginning because you want to level up a lot of stuff. Then later, some of the things are very expensive for gold. So now all of a sudden you need to farm that gold. And that's where, for example, the best method that I showcased, very simple, very easy. If you don't have Valby, you can probably still do it again, but it won't be as easy. But the point here is that you do need the gold and the Kuiper. Those are the two main things. If you're trying to get a super max build, I was explaining to my buddy Cloudy, hey, anything goes. you can play 20 hours and have a decent character, have enough energy activator and crystallizations to have a decent character to be able to get out there in the end game and start putting in work. So the game offers that to you. But you want to get crazy and maximize it and really go hard, you're gonna have to go ahead and farm a little bit. So these are just some examples. And again, you could just play the story, play the game, and enjoy that and not have to do any of this. But I wanted to make sure I give you all the best possible guide that there is out there with in-depth breakdowns, simple, not too complicated wording or anything crazy, as all my guides tend to try to be simplistic for every age or skill level and capable of utilizing it. So hope y'all enjoyed it. By the way, I do have the amazing Valby builds. I'm talking about like multiple builds, and I'm gonna be doing a lot more with her and showing you guys how great she really is. Plus, I got more stuff. It should be popping up on your screen right now. Go check that out, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.